This is episode 2, immediately after episode 1 of the Am I OK podcast, for want of a better word. Why have I chosen Am I OK as the podcast title? There is a big point or a big purpose around men's mental health, or like how do you understand mindset and mentality of a person. I love there's this guy at Tottenham, Pedro Porro, that there's this video, he's like, mentality. And I don't think it can be forced into you, or the idea of forced into you, but there is a sense of charity or people raising money for charities in Australia. I'm in Melbourne around November, which has got massive. There's Beyond Blue, and there is the Are You OK Day. And people put a lot of focus on having the awareness of certain things, but not trying to understand what being not okay looks like and how to navigate the feeling of not being okay. You feel less of and to, as a whole, get out of that feeling, or knowing that it is okay to sit in that feeling, but you should aim to feel at least okay, if not trying to aim for a level of success or a level of something that is more than just okay. And so the question of, I don't think this is something that you can keep throwing money at a lot of the time. I think this is ability to ask questions of yourself, to understand of, are you okay? And who you surround yourself with. It's a question. I have a mentor, or a couple of mentors at the moment, that it is a very Australian thing. And even my friend last night, an old coach, she's we always start with the question of, how are you? And often I go, good, as an instinctual response. Good, not bad. Yeah, pretty good. As a guy, we don't often, I think most people don't give a true honest feeling of that, because we don't want to burden other people with how we're actually feeling. Or at least you probably haven't found people that when they ask the question, they really care about that response. And this was part of how I was discussing the idea of what a podcast looks like. Of, when she asked the question of, how are you feeling? I said, good. She knew. She's like, good? Good? Okay, we'll talk about it. And I'm very comfortable talking about it with the right people nowadays. And so part of why I think it is important to sit in the not okay aspect is that when you're okay, that's good for most people. It's quite easy to navigate, or there's no real need to push forwards. The level that of people that are successful and really, really high achieving and get more of what they want is also okay in a space that people sit in. But I think you can feel not okay no matter how much income you have. You can feel not okay wherever your physical performance is at or physical health is at. You can feel not okay no matter what your relationship status is. You can feel not okay no matter what your family relationships are at, your friendships are at, financial situation. There is a big part of how do you describe the not okay? I'm not bad, I'm good. It's not good, as my old engineering mate Matt would say. Times that we've come in and had to go into a forecasting. They go, this project's going to be about another $500,000 over budget. And he's like, it's not good. It's not good. And just to cope with that, basically. And so this is part of the structures of analyzing what is okay actually mean, or what does not okay mean. It's the end of a relationship. The idea of not finding a relationship. I don't know which is worse, in the sense of it's hard to think that if anyone will ever love you or feel like you're valuable, at least to the same level that you feel the same way to them. Along with the idea of getting a divorce, or the idea that a girl or a partner that you thought you'd spend the rest of your life with doesn't see value in hanging around with you anymore. Like, just let that sink in. So I think that the big part of one of the reasons why I like I like to navigate this or find it purposeful or meaningful to navigate this is that my last job, basically a week after I found that one of our clients had committed suicide for their own reasons. I'm not entirely sure. However, I do believe there's some level of not great business acumen. Our client had committed suicide, and I was made redundant. And it was the break that I never would have taken if it hadn't been given to me. Spent 4 months running around. I have in multiple times seen guys that I went to an all-boys school with that are no longer here. Could you see a post that somewhat directly puts into the fact that they've committed suicide? I think you've also got this other comparativeness of the David Goggins, Jocko Willink, these hard motherfuckers in Australia. You got Ned Brockman, and this like hard nose, all in mindset or mentality to be able to push through some hard motherfucking shit. And that is what we should all aspire to be, to break our bodies and ourselves in order to be that person, without weighing the cons of pushing yourself to the limit. And I don't know if that mindset is all healthy, but I know that the mentality of being a victim, the mentality of being helpless, like I felt today, as you would have heard in the first episode, of basically sitting on the couch eating chips and chocolate, is also not the mentality and the mindset. This episode 2 is me trying to define what I'm trying to achieve as the Not Okay podcast. Because I feel like all guys, or at least the people that have the most success, I love the Alex Hormozi quote. There are three things that they all have. They all have this insane belief in themselves and what they're capable of. They feel like they are way greater than what they think that they are. The second thing is they have this consistency and belief to keep doing the actions undeniable to them. See a job, do the job, get the job done. See the job, do the job, get the job done. And the third is this inability of lack of self-worth. They need to prove something to someone or themselves of how bad they feel they are continuously, no matter how much success they have. And that is almost the point. How much coal do you have to burn? How much of that internal disgust and shame and guilt do you need to keep fighting off, not accepting, not avoiding, to be able to move forwards? This podcast, Am I Okay, is trying to... It's not even stigma, it's not even awareness. This is almost like a research project. This is a proof of concept of trying to find an answer to this. That maybe guests or my ideas aren't always right, but hopefully it at least follows the idea or the theory of I think what Chris Williamson, who has inspired me to do this in terms of my own ability, but the idea of having strong beliefs having strong beliefs held weakly versus having weak beliefs held strongly. And so this is me trying to navigate and share my beliefs in what not being okay looks like, some of the tips that I've found as most valuable over my time, and hopefully to bring some people on, people that I meet that have found ways to navigate this feeling of feeling okay or not okay, or navigating a level of success, and the internal mindset of that, and the negative self doubt. Even if they don't have self doubt, what those people think, why they don't have self doubt. People have different reference points and different experiences. But maybe the way to sign out is to check in. Do you feel okay? If you don't feel okay, check in and figure out which part of your life is not feeling okay, and try and find someone to reach out to. This is very early in the pod and clearly not that famous yet, so have ample amount of time for people. If you're not okay, maybe leave a comment, send a message. I really would like to at least try and navigate this and help people from this. Cheers.